Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together, we do this every single day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. As Scott and I join you guys and lay out our favorite plays, have a little fun, talk to you in real time. It's about 45 minutes of time well spent. Rye says it's go time, baby. Yeah, if you're a Padres fan, it is. Scott, I know you're a Padres fan today.
I am. Unfortunately, Machado popped up. So I had a shot there to potentially get a base hit, put a couple more runners on. But, you know, is what it is. Had 3 in the first 2 innings in Wrigley with the second worst bullpen in the league. I'm in a pretty decent spot with the wind blowing out.
I foolishly made a quick bet on the under, seeing Musgrove on the mound. Like, you know what? Musgrove can hold him to a couple of runs. He's great.
I would have just gone team total. If I was doing
that's what I should have done. But anyway, it's good to be here. Today's torture song. I always play a song as we come on, as Scott and I join up. Today's torture song was "That's What Makes You Beautiful."
Is that by the Jonas Brothers?
No, close, Scott. It's by One Direction.
Okay.
And I played that for Chris. He hated that song. Hated it. He said, "What are you playing that boy band shit for?" I said, "You know what? It's a banging song. Sorry."
It's another one of those where I know that it's by a boy band during the time that I grew up in my teen years.
Right.
Can't tell them apart.
See, I'm the same way with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
You tell me which one is Joey in, which one was Timberlake in. I'm not really sure.
Joey was the one who was on Impractical Jokers.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. 30 years after the fact.
Who went to space? Which one was it? Lance that went to space? Lance Bass?
No, that was Neil that went to space.
Neil Bass.
It was Neil Armstrong. Lance was the bike rider.
Oh, the great question, Scott. Who was the third guy on Apollo 11? Do you know it? You know who circled the moon while Neil and
Buzz?
No, Neil and Buzz got all the pub.
Okay. I have no idea.
Michael Collins, sir.
Oh, Phil's brother.
Yes, it was Phil's brother. So it is good to be here, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate you finding us on the Max Wagers Network. Don't forget to smash that like button. We appreciate it, of course. Get subscribed. I know you're over here on the Max Wagers Network watching us right now, so get yourself subscribed to the channel. Ring that bell. Click the notifications. Get notified every time we are live. We put up brand new content, all that good stuff. And, that's of course, subscribe to the Winners and Winers YouTube channel as well. Great content over there. Some of our writers starting to put up their own stuff and their own picks, so that's fun. Working with them a little bit. So, good to see Rye. Good to see Joan in the house. What's up, Joan? Happy Thursday to you. You left my NSYNC poster in Studio A.
Did you have a preference? If you can tell any of the songs by either of them?
What's the one they do the slow
the
song?
Bye 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 is from NSYNC.
Okay, who's the one that does the slow?
Everybody. That's from Backstreet Boys.
Okay, I wanted the slow one where they're all sitting on the stool singing a cappella. I want it that way.
Oh, that's tell me what? Yeah, that's Backstreet Boys.
Okay. So then I like them. That's my favorite song by either one of those guys. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole a couple months ago.
I usually just think of as soon as I hear the beat is a weird, I first think of Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes. Did he do one?
He did the eBay song.
Oh, one
of the first songs that was ever actually made or posted on YouTube.
I bought it on eBay.
Yeah, I think it was made in 2005 or 2006, the immediate start of YouTube.
I've got a couple friends of mine that are massive Weird Al fans. Go see him every time, and it says it's a great show.
I'm assuming he puts on a good show. You know, he plays 45 different instruments.
Right. So yeah, it's the stomach Steinway, as my dad used to call it, the accordion, of course. And it's got Caesars done us a solid, man.
Pizza.
Not Little. God.
That was the Little Caesars. Now we're on the Big Caesars.
Is it $5 for any pizza again? Oh, man.
I still think Hot and Ready is one of the dumbest titles I've ever heard. Isn't the pizza supposed to be hot and ready when you get it? If you get it, then how is it not ready?
It says it on your Tinder profile, doesn't it, Scott?
Hot and Ready?
Hot and Ready.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if they're delivering your pizza, then shouldn't it automatically be ready?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's like a George Carlin bit.
More
How's an oven supposed to be preheated? It's either heated or unheated. This program was pre-recorded. Well, when do you think they recorded it? Afterwards?
Somebody wrote the other day, like, why do you drive on a parkway, but park on my fucking lawn when you're drunk?
It's a fair one.
I thought that was pretty funny. Nice little twist there. Of course, don't forget to check. God damn it, you just about got me off track. Caesars. Yeah. It's Big Caesars, everybody. It's Caesars Sportsbook. They got a great deal going on. Hopefully, it's available in your state. If you live here in the fucking backwoods of flyover country like me, it's not. If you live in hip, cosmopolitan Brooklyn, New York, Scott's got it. But if you have Caesars in your state, take advantage of this offer. $1,500 risk-free bet, your first bet. Make your first bet your best bet. Maybe you got a line on that NBA game tonight. Jump on it. Jump on it. Because if you win, congratulations, you just won a gigantic NBA bet. If you lose, Caesars will make it good up to $1,500. Here's the key. You must use the promo code Video Winners. I don't think you have to put it all in caps. I don't think so. If your caps
try it with caps, try it without caps.
Yes.
Somewhere.
If you put in regular letters and it doesn't take it, put it in caps and just say that we told you so. Of course, we'll put that code in the description of today's video, as well as the link that will take you right there. And check out all the great content on the Max Wagers Network. Monday through Friday, noon to 5. It is the rockin' place to be. Midday Money, Sean Higgs, Allie Burns doing her thing with Morning Wood. Me and Chris doing parlays. Me and Scott doing our show Back to the Window. 4 o'clock is Sean Miller with soccer from around the world. And, of course, 5 o'clock, Game Time Decision with Nick and Tim, as well as Detroit Lenny. So check all of that out. The Earl brothers are at Disney World this week, though, Scott.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, let's check in with the comment section here and see what's going on with everybody. Bronco Devil in the house. Joan says, I'm a sucker for Reba concerts. I like a good Reba, absolutely. No worse than the slogan, America runs on Dunkin'. Very good. Belushi trained on Little Chocolate Donuts. You ever see that segment?
I have.
It's very funny. Very funny.
Good stuff.
It's no Bassomatic, but it's still very funny.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any real good slogans for food.
Good slogans?
Yeah. It's a lot easier to make up a bad slogan than a good one.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. Okay. That's a good one.
Not horrible. Not horrible. Got the little stinger there. Man,
Comparison.
I think it would be really depressing for us if we knew how much they were spending to get those bad slogans. It's a lot.
I'm trying to think. What was the Friendlies one? Was it? It was Ice Cream Makes the Meal.
I don't have a Friendlies, man.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it was Ice Cream Makes the Meal.
Okay.
So that's not a bad one either.
Oh, they just needed to finish it. Ice Cream Makes the Meal 3,000 calories.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they have the song, which is just like, I want to go to Friendlies, but then they always say at the end, like, where ice cream makes the meal.
Favorite burger, Scott? Where's the best burger?
We've Got the Meats is an awful one. It's a good call by Bronco. That is a pretty bad one.
We've Got the Meats.
Those commercials aren't good either.
Yep. My guilty pleasure was Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits.
I just think of the Naked Gun movies when I hear Herman's Hermits.
Yeah, that's very good. You know, I saw him one time at a revival thing with a bunch of fucking bands like that.
Creedence revival? Or just a regular revival?
Just a regular revival. Creedence.
Okay. No Creedence?
Creedence was not there. I gave no credence to this show. But he showed how he did that sound of Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, the kind of the tink with the guitar.
Yeah.
He put his pick guard, and he put like a cloth between the pick guard and the guitar.
Nice.
And that's what made that song. So we've you know what? We saw some good music. We learned a little something, and by golly, we made a few friends. So very good. Where's the beef? One of the great all-time slogans, along with Clara Peller. Rye Cape says Arby's Wagyu burger is delicious. My son, if you don't watch his show, Grub Buds, you certainly should. You can catch it on Twitch, and they just did the Wagyu burger at Arby's, and I believe it got
Is it like a food review?
Yeah,
type of show?
Yeah, they do different. Of course, they're all like 25, so they review a lot of seltzers and terrible beers, but they also do food and a lot of fast food stuff that's accessible to everybody. And they did a Kansas City barbecue playoff, of course. That was fun.
Of course,
but
the territory.
They just did the Wagyu beef, and I think they got like an 83, which is
nice, pretty
good for them. So very good. So yeah, thanks, Rye. Appreciate it. I'm gonna have to. I don't eat many burgers. I don't eat a lot of red meat, but about once every 2 months I'll have something. That might be my splurge. So hey, it's good to be here. We've covered all the bases. Let's find out what happened yesterday, Scott. We don't want to go down too many rabbit holes here. Too late, they say. Let's find out yesterday's action. You know who they are. The winners, the Whiners. That'd be a great name for a website, too, wouldn't it?
It would be.
People took it in the shorts, people that took it to the bank. You know who you are. You had that victory until it was snatched away at the very last moment. It is the Thursday edition of Call the Cops. Who are you going to go see in concert? I'm going to go see Siren. Oh, yep. I never heard of them.
Love their work.
Yeah, I'm going to go see Siren. Are they good? It's just the noise. It's not a band. So, very good. Hey, if you were in the majors yesterday and you said, I'm going to take a little spin on the Dodgers, team total over 4.5, well, you look good. They had a 3-run homer in the first, and they had another chance at a 3-run homer, but they had a fairly good center fielder out there, Scott, a young fellow by the name of Trout. I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He robbed a 3-run homer with 2 out. At that point, you think, wow, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what? It mattered because they only had 1 run in the final 8 innings. That was a homer in the third, and then it was over. And it was really over if you had the other side. But, yeah, they finished with 4. Good for me. I had the under in that game, but bad if you had the team total over 4.5.
Yeah, you almost had 6 in the first inning.
I know.
You somehow lost the team total.
Uh-huh.
But if you had the Marlins plus 1.5 against the Phillies, this game was going on. We were on the air yesterday, and I said expect some fireworks because both these bullpens kind of suck. And the Marlins led 1-0 with 2 outs, 2 on, 2 strikes, bottom 9.
Too bad.
Once again, you have plus 1.5. So as long as they don't hit a 3-run homer, you win. They hit the 3-run homer, and the Marlins went from up 1-0 to losing 3-1. Rip up your plus 1.5.
Big day for Rye Cape. Bad day for Marlins run linebackers. And finally, we kind of alluded to this one. If you had the Cubs team total over 5.5 against the Padres, scored 4 runs in the second inning, and then the next 7 innings, 1 more run. You can't get a fucking fly ball up in the wind. Nothing. No, they could not.
The Padres scored 19, but unfortunately, they didn't hand a couple over to Chicago.
When they put in Machado to pitch or something, I don't know, man. But they didn't. That was your hope, and then it was dashed. They finished with 5 runs. If you had the over 5.5, oof, call the cops.
It's an even worse beat because you know that if it was the Cardinals, Pujols or Molina would have come into the game.
100%. Yeah. Maybe Pujols could have caught while Molina was the pitcher.
Maybe
that'd have been fun. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, Campy Campaneris played all 9 positions in one game.
I'm trying to remember what the recent record was. I want to say Brandon Inge did that in a spring training game. Potentially. I think Inge might have played 8 in one game. I don't know. But is he the last one to do it? I think he might be.
As far as I know, yeah, it was a novelty. It tells you what kind of seasons the Kansas City Athletics had that they could do that at the end of the year.
The dark horse candidate to be a candidate to do that would be Phillips.
Yeah.
Just because you feel like one game, Tampa's just going to say, screw it. He's already pitched like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw him around the entire field and see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Who do you think has like the best arm? What position would translate best to pitcher? Somewhere in the infield, you think? A short left side of the infield?
I would have to say either outfield or third base.
Okay. All right. Very good. I know that.
I mean, catcher also usually needs a good arm, but you can't really judge a catcher because they're throwing it on a knee half the time.
Right.
So at least for third base, you can actually wind up and throw the thing. I'd probably say outfield or third base.
I do know that once Alex Gordon made the move from left field, from third base to left field, his arm was very well served. He had a great arm for an outfielder having come from third base. So
I'm thinking of Ankiel. Like if you talk about rejected pitchers, they tend to play outfield.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming vice versa, it'd probably be an outfielder.
I know you're too young to remember when that happened, but that was one of the weirdest things in sports, that and Steve Sachs not being able to throw the ball from second base.
The Sachs one I know about.
Right.
And he went to therapy for that for a couple of years and whatever. But the Ankiel one was fascinating because he was actually decent when he just started out.
Oh, he's great.
And then he walked like 9 batters in like one game, and people were like, "What the hell is happening?"
3 wild pitches in an inning and shit like that. Yeah, it was incredible. He played with the Royals for a couple seasons as an outfielder, and yeah, very solid, very solid. So there was some good news out there yesterday. There were some blowouts, Scott, and maybe you're on the right side of them. Maybe this was you as you spent Wednesday night. You spent hump day. Maybe you got a little hump on the day. I don't know, but perhaps you're a bit more of an underachiever. Nothing's quite so strenuous. Maybe you're just zonked out in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the White Sox on the money line against the Tigers, they led 7-0 after 4 innings, and they won 13-0.
Not good. Not good, Tigers. Where's your offense, guys? Not showing much teeth in that offense.
Or pitching. Really anything, to be honest.
Yeah, certainly for that game. If you had the Red Sox on the run line -1.5 against the Athletics, don't sweat it. You're up 6-0 after 4 innings. Red Sox, they added 4 more as they end up winning that one 10-1. Very good.
And the last one, if you had the Astros team total over 4.5, they scored 6 runs in the first inning, and they finished with 9.
You really had the rest of the night off there. That's the best case when you got team total over and they do it in the first. You're like, well, now what am I going to do? So, all right, very good. And of course, we have to talk about the hockey game a little bit, Scott. If you're wondering why we haven't talked hockey yet, well, we're going to tell you why, because we had a little segment planned. Let's get to it as we blow the trumpets, clean out those spit valves, and get ready to give me some fanfare. Now, this is the one I always head bob to. Let's find out who it is, Scott. Who is yesterday's gambling hero of the day? All right, very solid. Well, there was a hockey game last night, Scott, and I don't get to congratulate myself on very many hockey wins, but I did call this one when I was on the show with you and Allie and Detroit and Lenny. I told you I liked Colorado.
I got it half right.
Told you
I liked the over.
Colorado.
I got it half right.
They were completely wrong. They liked Tampa and the under. So you and I, we did okay on the over. And Colorado, of course, it came down to overtime. So I'm not gonna take too many victory laps for getting a fucking overtime win in a game I told you that I didn't want to lay 170. That was, and when you and I talked about it, I said, yeah, I'm gonna probably have to play the plus money just for value. But I think Colorado's going to win, and that's pretty much what happened. But good hockey game. But there was one person that maybe stood out a bit, Scott. Maybe stood out late. You want to tell everybody who that was?
Well, since it went to overtime, you know that we're going to have to talk about the person who won the game in overtime. You had Colorado forward Andre Burakovsky, who scored the game-winning goal in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Avalanche were -150 on the money line, but once again, only losers pay dues.
So, Tampa Bay has a problem clearing the puck out of their own fucking zone. Can you tell me why that is and what they can do to fix it?
Well, Colorado's speed definitely results in a very effective forecheck because it seemed like Colorado was just swarming the entire time. That's really been the story of the playoffs. You look at the actual shot comparisons, Colorado's outshot opponents in, I'd assume, virtually every game of the playoffs, besides maybe one game against St. Louis.
Tampa have 25 shots last night? I don't think they got to 25.
I do not believe so.
I don't think they did either.
No.
I saw it late in the third, and there was like 22-23, and I didn't think they fired off many in overtime. So
I said I was tempted by the Vasilevsky over in saves, which ended up getting there before overtime. But it's once again going to be the story of the series because you're assuming Colorado's going to outshoot Tampa in almost every game.
Right.
But the point is Vasilevsky's so much better than Kempfer. Is it really going to matter? And Kempfer was not very good last night.
Nope. He showed spurts, but overall, yeah, not a great performance. But again, it was overshadowed by the fact that Colorado had just by sheer volume were able to will in 4 goals. And I don't if they can't fix the problem of not being able to clear the puck, I think Vasilevsky's going to end up facing too many shots.
Yeah, I'm also not going to overreact because we saw Tampa lose Game 1 to Toronto and to the Rangers.
That's fair. And if they win the next one, they've fulfilled all of their hopes for the opening 2 games. All you ever hope to do in a 7-game series like that is split. Obviously you want to win both, but you're hoping to get a split and flip home ice advantage. So
I think the one thing Tampa should be pretty optimistic about was how good Braden Point looked.
Mm-hmm.
At no point yesterday did he look injured at all. He ended up drawing a slashing penalty earlier, or it was a high stick, one of the two. But he didn't limp at all. He looked fast. The power play for Tampa has to get better, though. They went over. So that's going to be something they need to improve on moving forward. But Tampa did not play badly. I mean, they went in as plus 140 dogs and lost in overtime.
Right.
They were down 3-1 early. It looked like it could have gone very ugly. But, we'll see what happens. It should be a hell of a series.
Okay, very good. Bryce Multane in the house. Good to see Bryce. Bronco Devil says the baseball yips happened to a buddy. He was a catcher for Colgate. Couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher.
My question for you, Major League 2,
Mm-hmm.
that was after the sack situation? I got to assume so, right?
I believe so. Yeah, that timeline's a little fuzzy for me, but yeah, it seems like
I
it.
was going to say, if it was before, that's one of the greatest predictions of all time, but I'm
Right.
assuming it was after.
Yep. Jones says replay Tampa game 2. All right. You like Tampa there?
I kind of have to, right? Tampa's what, like 18-1 off a loss?
Yeah, they're very, very
I
good.
mean,
Vasilevsky's been fantastic. The team's been fantastic.
once again, Tampa didn't play badly. Colorado got off to a very hot start, but if you want to actually talk about the second and third periods, you can make a case that it was very, very close.
Sure.
So I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. Colorado's speed is definitely a story for this series that Tampa's going to have to adjust to, but I think it's pretty evenly matched. I said Tampa in 6. To be honest, after watching Game 1, I just feel like it's going 7.
Yep. And that's kind of what I thought. Bryce says we're the real heroes of the day. So very good. We'll blow our own fanfare sometime. And speaking of shooting our own horn, Scott, I will give you credit because you and Lenny, you brought it up, and Lenny agreed with you about playing a little sprinkle on the Tide at the end of regulation.
Yep.
So
yeah, I did. I'm trying to think what the exact price was. I think it was like plus 310.
I thought it was a little better than that because it's 333 for the next game, and I assumed it was maybe closer to 350.
So it's probably around there. So I'm sure if you shop around, you'll find different wines, but somewhere in the low 300s.
So I'll give you props on that one. So that was the game from last night. Enough about the past. Let's talk about the future. We got Boston hosting Game 6 this evening. Golden State comes to town. Boston 3.5-point favorites. Scott, where are you at on this one?
So for this one, of course, we know Boston has been pretty good dealing with adversity in this postseason. They were undefeated off a loss before the last game where they lost to Golden State. Meanwhile, Golden State's had a couple of chances to finish off series on the road, and they're 0-3. They tried against Denver, they lost. Tried against Memphis, lost by about 55. And they tried against Dallas, and I believe they lost by 10, but they were really getting their ass kicked, and they ended up
it looked a lot more like even a double-digit loss looked a lot more respectable than it actually was.
Yeah, but the point is, for this one, I am leaning to Golden State. As I said, Golden State's had issues closing it out on the road. But I think Boston's just run out of adjustments offensively. We've seen them play fast, which worked in the first half of Game 3. And then for whatever reason, they just stopped playing fast. And I feel like Golden State's made the adjustments defensively. Offensively, Golden State's been hit or miss. But for the most part, Boston's offense, especially late in games, has been disastrous. And it seems like Boston's playing the same game every time and failing every time.
Yep.
And they're not making any offensive adjustments. Do you think they actually make some adjustments? Because at some point, I don't know what you can do.
It seems like they try, and then they fall back in their old habits by the fourth quarter where they just stand around and wait for fucking Tatum to create.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't really understand it.
Boston should play faster.
Yes, agreed. Bryce is saying he really likes the Wiggins rebound over. I've got a 7.
I like that too.
I got 7.5 with a shit ton of juice on it at 157. I'd shop around.
You can just go for double-double if you want to try to go for plus money. I mean, he's had a bunch of rebounds the last couple games.
Yeah, Chris had that as one of his shot in the darks. It's plus 220, I believe.
It's a hell of a price.
I agree.
I'll bet that.
Yeah, I think over in the rebounds is great. You're going to pay a little less juice. Take double for Wiggins. He's been an integral part of this kind of I'm going to say a resurgence, but maybe just kind of a reimagining of this Warriors team that went from the big three and now has kind of included Wiggins, Poole to a lesser extent, just expanded out on their roles a little bit. And as Draymond has, do you play if you're the coach? If this
is actually decent in Game 5, just to preface this.
So how many minutes do you give him?
Draymond?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends how he looks in the first half.
Okay.
Because he looked very solid in the final 3 minutes or so in Game 4. And Game 5, I thought Draymond actually looked very good. Now, offensively, he still sucks. We know that. But defensively, he looked dialed in, and he was also pretty solid at facilitating. It depends how he looks in front of the Boston crowd. Because he's played 2 games in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
He scored a total of 4 points. He's fouled out, and he shot, was it below 20% in Boston?
Yeah.
So I feel like home-road splits might play a factor here. but I think they're going to treat it like they did in Game 4, which is play Draymond the normal amount. If he's brutally awful, then they'll bench him and they'll bring in Poole. But if I had to guess what Draymond's going to play, probably somewhere in the mid-30s.
Would you play him in the mid-30s?
I think I'd enter the game with the expectation of him playing 35 minutes.
Okay.
And if he was especially bad at some point early on in the game, then I would be very quick to pull the plug. But you can't enter the game assuming you're going to bench him. That's how I look at it.
It's fair enough. I mean, they do it with Powell. Dallas did it with Powell. Yeah, we're going to play you 6 minutes and you're fucking be done.
Pretty much. But, and now Powell's going to be, I don't want to say out of a job, but now he's a backup center because Dallas traded for Christian Wood.
Right. Bronco says he's got the Jays, the Phillies, the Celtics, plus 254. Okay.
I mean, I can't go wrong with the Jays, Phillies, but the Celtics I'm a little bit torn on. Because I do expect Boston to come out first half, first quarter. I do like them early on.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't back a team that I don't trust offensively in the second half.
Well,
they've been, besides the last game, they've been terrible in the third quarter.
Yep.
And really ever since, Game 3, they've been abysmal in the fourth quarter as well.
Yes.
So they're just getting torched in the second half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. You look at... Because Joan was talking about taking the first half winner into the second half. I normally don't hate that, but this Boston team, number one, we've talked ad nauseum about Golden State's dominance in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, we've seen Boston stand around with their thumb up their ass, not move without the ball, not set the kind of picks that they need to set, and not run the kind of offense that they've been successful with, where they just basically stand around and wait for Tatum to do something. So it takes a ton of time off the shot clock. It doesn't give them many second chance opportunities. So, it's weird. You look at this Boston team, they're shooting 41% from 3-point land. You're like, you know what? That's pretty damn good. But I would love to take out, and I didn't do the legwork on this, but I am curious about it. If you took out like their hot quarter, their 9 for 11 quarters or whatever they shot the last game in the third quarter where they were just on fire from downtown. If you take out those quarters, what are they shooting in the other three quarters, Scott?
It's not very good.
Like 27, 28%, something like that, probably.
Both teams have really not been that good from the three-point
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You remember some big exchanges and, that you remember some stretches where they were red hot. But for the most part, I think...
It was really two stretches. It was Game 4 and Game 1, and it was the third quarter in Game 5.
Right.
That's basically it.
Exactly.
And I guess the first half of Game 3, because Boston scored 68 points.
Right. Yeah, and I remember looking this up, and I think Golden State shooting 37%, 38% from 3-point, something like that for the series.
Well, that's extremely high.
What? From
38%? That's extremely high. I'm assuming they would have been closer to low mid-30s.
No, they're shooting over 35%.
I'm just saying 38% means the entire team shooting like Kyle Korver.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying that just like Boston shooting 41%, they've come in. It hasn't been evenly distributed. Is kind of my point. So
that's also going to the point of why we've had so many blowouts. Just a ton of 3-point variance.
Yep. Jones says that trend is covered for the 5 games. There you go.
I think it's correlated, in my opinion. I like Golden State tonight, so I like the under.
Okay.
But I think if you like Boston, you like the over. Because that means Boston's going to play faster in order to get their offense going again, which should result in more points.
They're going to have more guys involved than Tatum. Somebody else is going to step up. A couple other guys are going to step up with 20+. We talked about that the other day. I think the same correlation exists. If Golden State wins, Boston's going to struggle to get to 100.
That's how I feel.
If Boston wins, they probably put up 115+. Certainly 112+. So
it's all going to come down to pace. If Boston remembers for a full 48 minutes, we have to play in transition, then I think they're going to fare well. But for some reason, it worked so well in Game 3, and they completely punted it for the next couple of games. I don't get it, so I'm not going to assume Boston realizes they need to play fast. But if they do, I think Boston's offense will look pretty good.
Okay, fair enough. We do have a play from the majors for our farm play, so we can talk about most of the games there. Of course, a lot of them are going on Right now, Scott, we talked about the Braves yesterday. The first time we've ever gone back to back with a pick.
2-0.
We should. So, do you think people will be mad at us if we have given up the Braves 14 times in a row?
No, because I believe they'd be undefeated.
See, that's the thing. That's
I've
ultimately
had that issue with some of my daily videos in the past.
right.
There was some type of series in baseball, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to fade this awful team 2 times in a row. And some people would get mad, like, what are you doing? You
Right.
just did this. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I thought the whole purpose was making money.
Here to make
What are you
money.
complaining about?
We're here to make money. That's absolutely true. You know, I mean, obviously we're in this for commercial reasons, so we're here to get views as well. That's why we, tend to stay away from Central Hockey League plays and Russian ping pong. But for the most part, we're going to try to give you the play that we think has the best chance of winning. And there was no play on the board we liked more than Atlanta yesterday. So
it's like, would you be mad at me for fading a soccer team that's in the middle of relegation? Of course not, because they suck.
well,
Like, they're in relegation because they don't win many games.
Right.
Like, I'm not a math guy, but if you're going to struggle to win games and you're going to lose a lot of games, I'm probably going to make a lot of money betting against you. That's usually how it goes.
Okay, very good. Yeah, Guardians up 1-0. Says
Nice.
Andrew. Very good.
Well, they're in Coors, so
2-0.
We ended up getting there. We had the over in the total chaos in that game, and it worked out.
It
wasn't easy.
Yep.
But
weren't afraid of that 11.5.
Yeah.
What else you see on the diamond tonight, Scott, that you like?
So to go through the actual diamond, I'm in the middle of sweating out my play of the day now. It's still very early, so I can't call it a full sweat, but we'll see what happens. Besides the play that we have saved for later, are you interested in Ohtani at plus money? Was Ohtani plus money or Seattle plus money? Sorry.
I've got Seattle plus money. I've got the Angels.
Seattle's plus money. Sorry, yeah, I flipped that.
Minus 120.
Do you like the Angels laying with Ohtani, or are they so bad you can't afford to lay it?
That's a bad baseball team, and don't look now, but fuck, they've lost 3 in a row again. My problem is the Seattle team, Scott, just continues to kind of underachieve. They've lost 3 of their last 4.
I don't know if you could say kinda. I mean, we thought they'd be competing for a division title. They're 7 games under.
Okay, fair enough. They've really underachieved.
Yeah, they've been bad.
Okay, yeah, they're not a good team. The Angels, I believe, let me see. Are the Angels still in front of them? Close. Seattle's 28-35. The Angels are 29-35. So
yeah.
This is the battle for last place tonight, buddy.
Last place or 4th, because is Texas.
Oh, we got Texas. I fucking forgot about Texas. That's
Can't
right.
forget about Texas. They're always in the basement.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So I don't know if I want to get involved in this one too much. Kirby.
I think I'm looking at Angels first 5 minus a half. I'll toss the bullpens out. Just give me Ohtani versus Kirby.
Okay. All right. Well, that's solid. Kirby has been pretty good. He's been one of the bright spots for Seattle as he came up in the first week of May. He's won his last 3, giving up. But man, he got beat up a little bit last time out. Scott gave up 5 runs, 3 earned, 2 homers over 5 innings. So,
I mean, if you want to find value, I feel like ignoring the bullpens and just taking Ohtani, and you hope he gives up 1 run in the first 5, you're in a pretty decent spot.
Well, I faded him last time, and he jumped up and bit me because he'd been shit the 2 starts before that. So I took Pivetta against him. All he did was go out and throw 7 innings, give up 1 earned. So, very good. No Royals today. No easy fades. No Braves. No easy takes. So
this Yankees pitching matchup's disgusting. I mean, you got 2 openers basically. You got Beeks against Schmidt. I can tell you right now, as a Yankee fan, Clark Schmidt is not good.
What happened to Severino?
Severino, I believe, got scratched. I'm not sure for what, or maybe they're doing an opener, but I doubt it because Severino's actually started a decent amount of games this season.
Right.
I think he just got scratched. I feel like I have to like Tampa plus 1.5, or Tampa first 5 money line, because I'm really not a Clark Schmidt guy.
Okay. All right. What's the new price of that?
Let me see what I can find.
Because I don't have anything without Severino on it. Let me see here.
ESPN's telling me Schmidt. So.
I've got Schmidt as well.
I see about minus 175.
Okay. All right.
I don't mind Ray's first 5 there. Maybe Ray's team total over. I'm really just not a Schmidt guy.
Okay. You like the over?
I got to be tempted by it. I mean, we know the Yankees can hit a lot of home runs. So far, the series has been pretty low scoring, but I think Tampa's bats, which are really, really injured right now, should wake up to some degree against Schmidt. So I'm looking at the Rays team total over personally.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, that's total's looking at 8.5. All right. So there you go.
Team total, you got 3.5.
Okay.
For Tampa.
Yeah. Going to be 3.5 for Tampa.
I mean, I'll take an over 3.5 with Clark Schmidt all day, every day.
That's fair enough. Jones says that she has the Rangers minus 1.5 going up against Bo Brisky.
You want to fade the team that lost 13-0 yesterday with Velasquez on the mound? What's wrong with you? I mean, I can't say no to that. Detroit's awful.
Yeah.
Texas isn't good at all, but they have some talent on the team.
Hey, I was right, by the way. They are playing for last place. Texas is 29-33, buddy.
Good for Texas. Look at them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Bad for us, but not keeping up with the dregs of the American League West. You see anything you like about Bo Brisky?
I think his first name's kind of cool.
Bo Brisky.
As a pitcher, I mean, he's okay. I mean, Perez is a lot better. Perez got shelled his last time out, but he wasn't he AL Pitcher of the Month last month?
Yeah, I could believe that. For May, as he gave up 0-1-1-0-1-0-2 or 0.
Yeah, he got shelled in his last start,
Yeah.
but if you ignore that, he's been very good.
Mm-hmm.
So Texas does have the better starting pitcher on the mound. I think that's pretty safe to say.
Yep.
Rangers minus 1.5 on the road. Yeah, I don't mind that.
I'm okay with that. Rangers have lost a couple in a row, but they won 3 straight before that. So, okay.
Once again, both teams aren't good, but at least the Rangers have shown some sort of pulse.
Rangers are just happy not to fucking be playing Houston.
Yeah, pretty much.
Andrew keeping us up there in Colorado. Guardians doing their thing, up 3 zippy zip. So, and on the other hand, Broncos says, "Damn Rangers and Rockies." Well, that's just. Are those your teams, Bronco?
It's either that or he has money on them.
Yeah.
Well, Bronco would make sense if he was rooting for Colorado.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that makes sense.
He's in Texas.
Didn't he used to live in like Austin?
He lives in Austin now.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess he just roots for the Rangers.
That's what I don't know. That's what. Yeah. If you root for the Rangers, do you hate the Astros?
Damn it, they're taking Swarmer out. Damn it. First and second, 2 outs. I wanted him to face Machado. Damn it.
You got him to pop out last time.
He did. So I guess, we're making progress here, but whatever.
All
One
right.
home run and it's over.
You're right. You just need over 5.5. Very good.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Well, anything else on the card there that you see that get you excited?
I am kind of interested in the over in the Brewers-Mets game. You have Ashby against McGill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an Ashby guy. And McGill had a pretty good start to the year, but he's got a 4.5 ERA. So recently he has not been particularly good. He also doesn't go much distance, but I think that the total seems a bit low, in my opinion. I'm leaning to the over there. Do you like either of those pitchers?
You know what? I liked McGill early in the season. Then he kind of fell off the cliff. I thought, well, it's because of
He went on the IL, didn't he?
What's that?
Didn't he go on the IL?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then right at the end of that, he kind of fell off the cliff. And you're like, oh, well, he's injured. So
he went on the IL.
He came back
on Friday.
Made one start, went 3 1/3, I think.
Yeah, so he's not going any distance. He didn't pitch well either.
Right.
And Ashby, I can tell you, is not going to go much distance, but I also don't think he's very good. So if you're going to give me 8 there, Milwaukee's offense has actually been okay.
Yeah.
Recently. I'll
Better.
go with the over.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't hate that. It's one of those I don't want to get involved with the under.
I agree.
With those two pitchers, but the Mets have been hitting the ball pretty well. Yesterday was kind of an outlier, but yeah, okay. I'm all right with that. Bet on the San Diego over 6.5. You say you should or you did? Sure.
I know it closed at about 6 or 6.5.
Surely
I got it at 5.5.
Like, sure, you're not getting over 6.5 at live, so you must be talking.
There's only one book that I saw that actually had a total on that Cubs game. Actually, it was two. There were two books that had a total on the Cubs game overnight, and I was shocked.
I
with the win.
I guess they just knew the fucking wind was going to blow, and they're just going to put it at 11 and call it good, huh?
FanDuel opened it up at 10. Fox Bet opened it up at 9.5.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, what are you doing?
Did you just pound it?
For Fox Bet, I did the team total instead.
Yeah. Okay. That's how you got.
Once again,
that's how you got 5.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
That's why I took it. I said on the video, there's no way I'm going to wake up and it's still going to be minus 110 at 5.5.
Well, Chris, I don't want to jinx anybody, but put it this way: I'd rather be on the over 6.5 right now for the Cubs or for the Padres than I would be the under 6.5.
They brought in Scott F. Ross.
Okay.
Don't know who this is. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Bronco Devil says he lives in DFW before Austin. Worked for TV station that carried the Ranger games. Wife's from Colorado, Broncos and Rockies. There you go. All right. So, Scott, would you marry anybody that was diametrically opposed to teams that you root for?
Yeah.
Would you? That wouldn't be.
I don't think it's a massive deal breaker, you know.
Okay. Any deal breakers? What's your number one deal breaker?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
My number one deal breaker.
Yep.
I personally don't enjoy when people take a long time to respond to text messages.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to have a conversation here.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Oh, then
I guess that's just I don't know how big of a pet peeve that is, but I don't like having to. Now, you don't have to respond immediately.
Now, do I get a pass?
But if I send you a message, don't wait 3 hours.
Do I get a pass because I'm old and I don't always fucking have my phone in my fucking hand?
No, that's fair.
Okay.
I said like 3 hours.
Okay. All right.
Like, there are some people you can send a text message to, and they'll respond to you a day later. And I'm
All
like,
right.
what have you been doing?
I agree.
For the last 20 hours.
You couldn't just take fucking 90 seconds or whatever to fire off a text. My deal breaker is, Scott, fucking stupid. I can't do vacuous, dumb. Well, really anybody, but especially.
I was gonna say, if I wanted to sound pretentious, I would say bad grammar, but that's also because I'm a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, people that say "like" all the time.
Yes.
That can be a bit of a pet peeve for some people.
Now there goes me fixing you up with my daughter. That's over. She's an
Give it a hell of a run.
And she's an English major, and uses English degree, and uses like and literally way too much.
See, James, that I do agree that if you've been talking to the person for a long time, then they're ghosting you. I agree with that. But even when you're starting a conversation, some people are just naturally awful texters.
Okay. Bronco Devil says political party is a deal breaker. I would say that's probably true for a lot.
I'm the opposite.
A lot of
Actually, my political stance is that if you think that my political stance is a deal breaker one way or another,
okay,
then I just don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
In other words, it's a deal breaker for me that prioritize their political stance over everybody else's.
So you would be equally unattracted to Trump as the real president as opposed to meat as murder. You would,
I don't give a shit.
You would hate both of those people.
Just don't give me a hard time about me being apolitical, and we're fine.
Okay. What do you think of the D-Gen parlay Boston team total? I'm going to put this up where I can read it.
In other words, people that force their politics upon me.
Fair enough.
Like, if I don't want to talk about it, don't force me to talk about it. That's my main deal breaker for politics.
All right, let's talk about this one real quick from Nicholas, and then we'll go on to the farm. What do you think of the D-Gen parlay Boston team total over? What does that say? Oh, who's that? Kaylee? What? Scott? Help me. Clay. Thank you very much. Clay to go over 20.5. Boston to win the first half. Robert Williams to have over 8.5 rebounds. Clay to have over 3.5 threes, and Wiggins over 1.5 threes.
So, of course, it's going to be correlated to Boston winning, because we said we think it's going to be a higher scoring game if Boston wins. You have Game 6 Clay. If you want to buy into that, then I can understand that angle. I think the one thing that concerns me is going to be Wiggins, because he went 0 for 6 from 3 last game.
Yep.
He's been very efficient from 2. He's been brutal from 3. So I don't know if I would want to take the over 1.5 there, but I don't mind it per se.
Okay. All right. Very good.
It's a D-Gen parlay, you know?
The deal breaker is a deal breaker. It annoys me when someone texts you and then they don't answer you back. Yes, Joan agrees.
They'll send you one message, you respond, and they just respond 2 hours later, and it's like, what? Why did you even message me in the first place?
Chris says, I suck at texting. I have a flip phone. You
Okay.
know, if it wasn't for having to get scores and watch videos and shit and use it for I'd probably still, I don't know. I've had a smartphone for a while, but I definitely see it. I definitely don't take advantage of all the things my phone does. And people get like the new phone with it's got 3 cameras now. Like, what the fuck do I care?
That's probably one of my biggest flaws. I don't take any photos of myself.
You went to
ever.
you went to Belmont.
There is one photo that my friend's girlfriend took. I got to reach out to her for it. But the point is, if I'm going to a place, I rarely, if ever, take a photo of myself with the people that I'm with. I personally live through experiences as opposed to taking photos of it. But I get it. It's a memory. People want to have it. I'm just not a photo guy. I'm
the same way, except I did send you guys photos like of the band the other night when I was at the concert, just to annoy the shit out of you. But I'm not like a selfie guy. My wife takes a few selfies.
I'll record the band performing and everything, but I don't take photos of me and by the venue or whatever.
No.
Usually if I go with my dad's the one who asks for a photo.
Yeah, there you go. Well, he wants to be seen with you, buddy. Who could blame him?
For some reason. Most people would be embarrassed to be seen by me.
By the way, I don't think I've talked to you about this. I want to tell everybody out there. I'm gonna have we're gonna have my wife on the show to talk about the Tour de France.
Really?
To talk about the Tour de France.
Nice.
She's an absolute geek on the Tour de France, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the odds last night.
You told me this before.
Yeah, we went through the odds last night, and she's like rattling off these guys. Oh, that's a great price. Oh, fuck no, I wouldn't touch him. He's done. So we're gonna have on.
Is that for stages or the overall competition?
For overall competition.
Okay.
Oh, she'll be able to talk about who's the sprinter. Who's the guy in the mountains? Who's going to get the polka dot jersey? Who's the best young? Trust me.
When does that start?
She told me last. I think it's the 2nd.
Okay.
She's first 3 weeks of July every year. She's fucking dead to me. She's more likely I'm dead to her because that's what she does. And because it lasts like 6 hours a day.
And then all of a sudden it comes up and you sit up in your chair. Tour de France. Who do you start pretending to be interested in more things?
Dude,
so she can give you some information.
I know more about the Tour de France than the average person just from being in her presence.
I can say that I know nothing, but my roommate's father was a very big cyclist.
Okay.
He wasn't like professional, but he would bike 30 plus miles, whatever. So he watches the Tour de France.
David Good says Sheryl Crow is an MU lady. Yeah, she was I want to say she was a KD, David. Somebody that was, because I went to school when I was there at the same time she was, and somebody that was in my fraternity like went out with her. It wasn't like a thing, but yeah, she's from Springfield, I think, like fucking Brad Pitt, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she was at Mizzou the years that I were there. So, yep, she cool. All right, Scott, let's do it, man. We're riding a hot streak, but now we're going to see if we can pick somebody besides the Braves and fucking get a win. So
when you say somebody not the Braves, we kind of cheated, but technically we didn't take the Braves.
Right. Right. We didn't even cheat with the Braves.
No. We did. We cheated. We kind of cheated.
Fuck.
There's overlap. We're just backing a different team.
Okay, fair enough. That's
I think you catch my drift.
I do. We're teasing the shit out of it, and now we're going to get right to it, guys. It is time. It is Thursday. Put on your overalls, grab that straw hat, put it at the top of your head, climb aboard your John Deere, get out the keys, and fire that bad boy up, because, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is time to bet the farm. All right, very good, Scott. Well, we've talked about it a little bit. Afternoon, ma'am. Wait, where am I here? Where the hell's my... There it is. Okay, fine. My hair's going to be great spinning that hat around like that. Okay, so, Scott, we did have a Bet the Farm play yesterday. We've alluded to it a little bit, but just for the record, how'd that go?
We had the Braves, again, -1.5. And just like the day before, they killed them.
Easy money. Cue the banjos. Yeehaw. All right, there you go. So we've got a farm play cooked up for today. Kind of a similar situation, as Scott said. It's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies -1.5. Phillies, don't look now. Trying to make up some ground on the Braves. Good luck. Phillies won 11 of their last 13. The Nationals, well, we keep talking about this. We have to update this every day. They are shitty, but they are really shitty at home. They have lost 22 of 33 home games. That is a .333 win percentage, if I'm not mistaken, and that is not good. Zach Wheeler is going for Philadelphia. He has been outstanding, and he's been even better lately. 31 2/3 innings pitched, 1.42 ERA. And our old buddy, it's PC. Not going to be very PC today as Patrick Corbin goes for the Nationals. His last 5 starts, Scott, a little bit different. 27 and 2/3.
Well, he's been bad the entire season, but
yes.
He's been worse over the last 5
Yes,
starts.
He's got about a 6 ERA for the season, 7.16 over the last 5, 27 and 2/3 innings. He's got some distance. He'll go 5 innings, but he ain't good. And Wheeler, well, Wheeler is good. Phillies just playing good ball right now. Washington hasn't played good ball all season. We like the Phillies on the farm, -1.5 at -110. There's one for you. Everybody complaining about the big prices that we've had lately. -110, that's a hell of a deal. That's like the bargain bin at Target. Grab that shit up.
No, I did write that last night. I believe it's now closer to -120, -125. Still very reasonable.
Of course.
If you want a trivia question, do you know which baseball team leads the league in road runs per game?
Road runs per game. Man, I'm going to go with the Phillies.
That is correct.
Wow.
So
how
they're
does
a
he
very
do
good
it?
road team, which is really weird because they have a losing record on the road, but they lead the league in runs per game on the road.
How about that? How
So
about that
we're
road
gonna back
pitching?
Wheeler and hope the offense torches Corbin once again.
There you go. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the farm. That's going to do it for the show. As always, we appreciate everybody stopping by. You couldn't make it to the end, huh? You just
Dogs
couldn't
are
do
not
it.
barking. We got the Phillies, damn it.
There's no dogs barking tonight, man. He was so good. He couldn't make it 30 more seconds. The guy walked by with his dog. He couldn't do it. Anyway, that's it, guys. It's Thursday. We got one in the can. Everybody, get ready to have a great weekend. All you fathers out there, hope everybody has a great Father's Day weekend, of course. We'll be back tomorrow, though. Scott and I, we do our thing every single day as we check in 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, help guide you in that journey to head back to the window. Take care. We'll see you then.